The summer that changed everything. I never expected that summer to change anything. When my parents sent me to Aunt Margot's beach house for 2 months, I prepared myself for endless boredom, lazy afternoons, the sound of waves crashing, and long walks alone on the shore. But on my first evening there, standing on the porch and watching the sunset paint the sky in pinks and golds, I heard a voice behind me. "Well, look who's back." I turned around, my breath catching for a second. Noah. It had been years since I'd last seen him, but I would have known him anywhere. Except he wasn't quite the same. He was taller, his shoulders broader, his once messy curls now effortlessly tousled. His boyish face had sharpened into something more defined, but the smirk was the same, half amused, half teasing. "Noah?" I blinked, still processing. "Wow, you changed." "So did you." He stepped closer, leaning against the porch railing like he'd been doing it forever. I hesitated, unsure what to say. We used to be inseparable every summer, running barefoot across the sand, playing hide-and-seek in the dunes, sneaking extra scoops of ice cream from Aunt Margot's freezer. But time had stretched between us like the tide pulling back from the shore, and suddenly I wasn't sure if we were still the same people. "What are you doing here?" I finally asked. "My parents still have the house by the dock," he said. "I guess I never really left." I nodded, staring out at the ocean. The waves rolled in, steady and unchanging. Unlike us. "You staying long?" he asked after a moment. 2 months, I said. "Until school starts again." He whistled. 2 months in this tiny beach town. You must be thrilled. I smirked. "Oh, beyond excited." He laughed, and it was familiar, even if everything else about him seemed different. "You still hate the beach?" I sighed dramatically. "It's too hot, too sandy, and the waves are unpredictable." "Still dramatic, I see." He nudged me with his elbow, and something about it, the easy way he did it like no time had passed, made me relax. For the next hour, we sat on the porch and talked. About everything and nothing. About how my parents were too busy to take vacations now. About how he spent his time working at the local surf shop. About how the town hadn't really changed, except for the new cafe by the boardwalk that apparently had the best iced coffee. "Better than the old cafe?" I challenged. "Way better," he insisted. "I'll prove it tomorrow." I rolled my eyes but smiled. As the stars blinked to life above us, I realized something. Maybe this summer wouldn't be so boring after all. The next morning, I wasn't entirely sure if Noah had been serious about proving the cafe's iced coffee was better than the old one. But when I stepped onto the boardwalk, there he was, leaning against his bike, 2 iced coffees in hand. "You actually showed up," I teased, taking the cup he offered me. "Of course. Can't let you keep drinking bad coffee." I took a sip, letting the rich, sweet coffee coat my tongue. "Okay, it's not bad." "Not bad," he groaned. "You have no taste, Laurel." I rolled my eyes and we started walking along the boardwalk. The ocean breeze was cool, the morning air still quiet before the afternoon crowds took over. "So, what's the plan today?" I asked. "Nothing too exciting. I have work in a bit, but I figured I'd spare some time for my favorite childhood best friend." "Oh wow, what an honor." He smirked but didn't argue. We sat on a bench overlooking the water, sipping our coffees, slipping into that easy rhythm again. No pressure, no expectations, just the quiet understanding that some friendships don't fade no matter how much time passes. That evening, Aunt Margot threw a barbecue, inviting half the neighborhood like she always did. The smell of grilled burgers filled the air, kids ran barefoot on the grass, and music played from an old speaker. I hadn't expected Noah to show up, but he did, hands stuffed into his pockets as he wandered into the backyard. "Crashing family gatherings now?" I teased, handing him a plate. "I was invited, thank you very much," he shot back, stealing a fry from my plate before adding food to his own. We ended up at a picnic table, laughing over ridiculous childhood stories while my aunt kept nudging me and winking like she knew something I didn't. At one point, my cousin Claire, who was a hopeless romantic, leaned in with a grin. "So, Laurel, is Noah your summer boyfriend?" Noah choked on his drink. I nearly dropped my fork. "What?" "No," I said quickly. "We're just friends," he finished, still coughing. Claire just smirked. "Aha. Sure." We ignored her and spent the rest of the night talking, the warm glow of string lights making the whole evening feel almost unreal. Like the kind of night you wanted to hold on to forever. A few days later, Noah and I were driving along the coast in his beat-up truck. The windows were down, the radio played softly, and the night air smelled like salt and wildflowers. He was quiet, which was unusual for him. Normally, he filled silences with jokes or stories, but tonight he just stared at the road, his hands gripping the wheel a little tighter than usual. "What's up?" I finally asked. He exhaled, shaking his head. "Nothing." I waited. He sighed again. "I found out my ex was cheating on me," he admitted, his voice tight. "A few months ago. It sucked." I looked at him, his profile illuminated by passing streetlights. "Noah." "It's stupid," he said quickly, running a hand through his hair. "I mean, whatever, right? People break up all the time. Love is just complicated. Too much effort for something that ends up hurting you in the end." I frowned. "Not always." He let out a dry laugh. "You sound so sure." I hesitated, choosing my words carefully. "I just think you haven't found the right person yet. The one who won't hurt you. The one who will make it all worth it." For the first time that night, he looked at me, really looked at me. And for a split second, I wondered if maybe, just maybe, I wasn't just talking about him. The sun was high, the waves rolling lazily onto the shore as Noah stood in front of me, arms crossed, that infuriating smirk on his face. "Laurel, you seriously don't know how to swim?" he asked, amusement clear in his voice. I groaned, crossing my arms. "I can swim. I just don't like deep water." "So, basically you can't swim." I smacked his arm. "Shut up." He laughed. Okay. I'll teach you. Come on." With a reluctant sigh, I followed him to the shoreline, letting the waves brush against my feet. Noah waded in first, turning back and holding out his hand. "Trust me." I hesitated but placed my hand in his. He pulled me forward, the cool water rising around us as he positioned himself beside me. "Okay," he said, "just float. I've got you." I tried, I really did, but the moment I leaned back, I panicked and grabbed onto him. Noah burst out laughing. "Oh my God, Laurel, you're terrible at this." I glared at him. "Maybe I wouldn't be if you weren't laughing at me." Okay, he said, still grinning. "Try again." This time I pushed him hard. He stumbled backward with a yelp, splashing into the water. When he surfaced, his hair dripping, he looked at me with mock betrayal. "Oh, you're gonna pay for that." I shrieked and ran, but running in water was impossible. Noah caught up easily, grabbing me around the waist and pulling me back. "Noah!" "Let go!" I squirmed, laughing as he lifted me slightly, threatening to dunk me. "Oh, now you want me to let go?" he teased. "I don't know, Laurel. You might need saving." I elbowed him, managing to break free, but as I tried to escape, my foot slipped in the wet sand. Everything happened in a blur. I fell backward with a gasp, expecting to hit the ground, but instead I felt the solid warmth of Noah's body crashing down with me. We landed in the shallow water, him half on top of me, his hands braced on either side of my head. And suddenly everything stopped. The laughter, the teasing, it all melted away as I found myself staring into his deep brown eyes only inches from mine. His wet curls clung to his forehead, his chest rising and falling against mine, and I could feel the warmth of his breath against my skin. My heart pounded so hard I was sure he could hear it. Noah didn't move. He just looked at me, his gaze shifting between my eyes and my lips like he was waiting. Like he was daring me. I didn't think. I didn't second guess. I just moved. My hand slid up to his cheek, and before I could stop myself, I pressed my lips to his. For a second, he froze, just long enough for me to panic. But then, his arms tightened around me, his lips moving against mine, soft but urgent, like he had been waiting for this too. The waves lapped around us, the world fading away until it was just him. Just us. The walk back to Aunt Margot's house was quiet. Not the comfortable kind of quiet that Noah and I usually shared, but a charged, almost shy silence. Neither of us had mentioned the kiss. I wanted to. The memory of it still burned on my lips, my heart still hadn't settled in my chest, but I didn't know how. What were we now? What did this mean? Noah walked beside me, hands stuffed in his pockets, occasionally stealing glances at me when he thought I wouldn't notice. I pretended not to. We reached my aunt's porch, the warm light from inside spilling onto the wooden steps. I hesitated before turning to him. Well, good night. Noah exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck. Yeah. Night, Laurel. I thought for a second that he might say something else. That he might bring up the kiss. But he didn't. And neither did I. The next afternoon, Noah showed up at my door. We need to talk, he said, his voice softer than usual. I swallowed hard but nodded, stepping onto the porch with him. The ocean breeze ruffled his curls, but he didn't have that usual teasing look in his eyes. He was serious. I don't want to pretend nothing happened, he admitted, looking at me. I don't want to ignore it, Laurel. 'Cause I meant it. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. He sighed, shaking his head with a small, nervous smile. Look, I know we've been friends forever, and maybe this is crazy, but you're more than that to me. You have been for a while. I never wanted to ruin what we had. My breath caught. I don't want to rush you, he continued. If we're going to do this, I want us to be sure. I want us to mean it. His voice lowered slightly. So tell me if you don't feel the same, and I'll drop it. But if you do, just tell me what's going on in your head. I didn't know what to say. I felt something. I knew that. But this was Noah. My childhood best friend. The boy I had never thought of this way until now. Until this summer. I need to think, I said finally. I don't want to mess this up. He nodded, his jaw tight like he was bracing himself for rejection. Yeah. Okay. Take your time. And then he left. That night I called my sister, Natalie. Well, she teased. I knew something was going on. Natalie, I groaned, flopping onto my bed. Be serious. I am serious, she said, amused. Okay, tell me everything. I did. From the beach to the kiss to Noah's confession. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she sighed. Laurel, you already know the answer. I frowned. No, I don't. Yes, you do, she insisted. You're just scared. And I get it, trust me. But if you're waiting for someone to tell you what to do, I won't. You just have to ask yourself one thing. Does the idea of being with him make you happy? I hesitated. 'Cause deep down I knew. It did. I didn't wait any longer. I got up, grabbed my hoodie, and headed to Noah's house, my heart pounding with every step. I needed to tell him. When I reached his window, I was about to knock, but then I heard voices inside. His. And someone else's. I frowned, stepping closer. I don't know, man, Noah was saying. She's taking time to think, and I don't want to pressure her. I really want this to work. She's lucky, the other voice said. Not every guy would wait like this. I'd wait for her, Noah said softly. My breath caught. 'Cause in that moment I knew. I was sure. I didn't hesitate anymore. Hearing Noah's words, I'd wait for her, made everything clear. My fear, my hesitation, all the overthinking, none of it mattered. I wanted this. I wanted him. Before I could talk myself out of it, I stepped inside. Noah looked up, startled. His friend raised an eyebrow, then smirked knowingly. "I'll leave you two to talk." He patted Noah's shoulder and walked out, shutting the door behind him. Noah turned back to me, standing up. "Laurel." I took a shaky breath. "Yes." His brows furrowed. "Yes." I stepped closer, my heart racing. "Yes, Noah. I want this. I want us." For a second, he just stared at me like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. Then a slow, breathtaking smile spread across his face, and before I could say anything else, he pulled me into his arms. I melted into him, my head resting against his chest as his arms wrapped around me tightly, like he never wanted to let go. "You have no idea how happy that makes me," he murmured against my hair. I smiled, closing my eyes. "I think I do." And just like that, the summer that was supposed to be boring became the summer I found love.
We're two hearts in the dark, chasing whispers through the night. Secrets buried in the stars, hidden in the pale moonlight. Every glance feels like a spark, every word just out of reach. We're dancing close but standing still on the